What we are shaving with today is same as yesterday, the B5 Declaration Grooming Brush. I've got it choked up a little bit here with a rubber band to see if maybe eventually I might like to move it to a deeper hole to have a little bit less loft for this particular knot. So we're going to try it out again, see if I like that. Yesterday it worked well. I like to soak my badgers for a few minutes. All right. The razor we're going to use today is a Wolfman WR1. And as you can see, it has teeth, and so it's an open comb razor. This is the standard gap, which I believe is 0.61. I could be wrong about that. But it's the standard gap. And this is a Weber handle. You can still get them on eBay. I think they've shut down their shop in terms of the heads that they used to make, but they still make on eBay these handles, and I saved 10 bucks and got one that had a blemish on it, and it still looks great. All right. The blade we're going to use for this one is PolSilver. I've got, looks like 8 uses on this guy already. PolSilver is a funky blade if you've never used it before, because it doesn't actually say PolSilver on the blade itself. So here's how to load up. This is your typical 3-piece. If you're kind of new, throw the handle over there. Take off the base plate. Put on the blade. This is a nice razor because the rails there on that top cap keep that blade in exactly the right position all the time. Now, this is one way you can do it. Sometimes you're unable to have this kind of grip, but it's a very safe grip because there's nothing anywhere near a blade edge. And then just, yep, perfect alignment. On this kind of razor, it's always good to look at the gap right there and make sure it's very thin, make sure it's razor thin. That way you know nothing's offset, and then that could obviously cause you a problem during your shave. It would be very noticeable, so it's probably something you wouldn't miss. Soap we're going to use tonight, quick shave, is Cella. It's a favorite of mine. I like the smell. Cherry, almond, marzipan type smell. It's a little small, and so as you can kind of see, and I have loaded from this puck before, but for me it's a little easier to just take my 1/4 teaspoon measure and get in there and pull out a 1/4 teaspoon. Then I don't have to worry about counting swirls. And this is the older of the designs. I just think it's kind of cool. The new one's nice with the dude with the beard of Lather and stuff. But I figure kind of like the old classic. It's a fairly firm soap. Not very much of it was left in the spoon. Pretty easy to hook out. It is a formula that just hasn't changed very much in many years. The company's been around for maybe 100, and I think the soap itself is that old as well. And new soap bases can come and go, and that is terrific. But this is a good soap. To me, it smells good. If you buy the 1 kilogram block and stick it in a Ziploc bag, when you're not using that portion and you just portion yourself some out into the tub and use it for, I think, 3 months or however long it takes to use up the tub and then refill, I think it's one of the best deals on the market in terms of price. All right, we've got the soap spread out. This soap just doesn't have a problem getting mixed up. You're not going to end up with tons of any of the soap in the bottom of the bowl that hasn't been integrated. And so we'll just start mixing up. A little bit of water in the brush. I didn't sling it out all the way. A lot of bubbly lather right away. Obviously there's multiple ways of lathering Cella. This is just one of the ways that I do it. Produces a very nice lather. This is doing quite a bit of activity and mixing and movement, and a lot of work is needed with just that water that was on the brush. Many soaps need more water at this point to do this. Always mix past that early bubbly, airy lather. This is getting more dense as we go. Looks like it's kind of stabilized. So I'm going to take my syringe, put a teaspoon in there. I like that scent. I do not have in my soap collection a section for cherry flavor scents. I do have a couple of other almond scents like Valabra, Colonel Conk, D.R. Harris. But this is kind of an oddball. It's almost like Mitchell's wool fat with that kind of linen smell that it has. It is an oddball in my collection. Most of my scents are masculine, leather, tobacco, vetiver, just very different scents from this. But I enjoy it. I like its heritage. I like the scent. I think the performance is very good. I mean, look at this lather. People who diss on it, I don't know why. Maybe they couldn't figure out how to make it work. Not really too mystical. Now I'm going to slow down and add water in half teaspoon increments now that I've added the first 2 teaspoons. Once this half teaspoon is integrated, I will do a little finger test just to make sure my eyes don't get ahead of the actual slickness of the soap so it doesn't get too thin. See, now look at it. It's different than before. Not really sticking up on the sides of the container. Looks like maybe the full quarter teaspoon is not as Not something I want to use if I want to be budget sensitive. I can use less than the 1/4 teaspoon and get plenty of soap. I'll bet this is about the stopping point. So let's do a quick decent cushion. Sliding across my fingerprint ridges. I can just barely tell that they're there. I'm going to go ahead and stop and see if this might be a good stopping place. Nice slick soap, but it also does rinse away fairly easily. Haven't decided which way I like to go on that. Man, when your face is just slick and it takes a while, like some other soaps, to rinse it off, sometimes that's neat. Sometimes you know, man, this is a slick soap, but there are others that don't have that property but are still slick. Probably just a chemical part of the nature as they manufacture the soap, some chemical or something they add in to either add or detract from that property. All right, get my face wet. Dealing with the usual 24-hour beard growth. Hard water. So Cella is definitely hard water tolerant. Holy cow, this lather is just kind of exploding on the brush there. A little bit more scrubbing. Clean up those oils. Clean the hairs to make them cut a little nicer. Maybe even get some soap underneath them so maybe they'll stick up. Feels terrific. Wow. I think still kind of concentrated lather, because I think I just put down a brush that had just as much lather on it as when I picked it up. And so I think it had a little bit more maybe water and soap that needed to be worked. All right. Weber handle is a little shorter. It's got a lot of weight to it. It's called the Bulldog, I believe. Oh man, that's a good cut. It's not slicing through the hairs. With no effort. I do feel the blade edge. I know it's cutting. Maybe that super smooth feel that you get with a premium razor because of the geometry. It's not that the manufacturing process or the fact that this is an extra type of stainless steel or something. I mean, it's all about geometry. That's all that matters. Where does it clamp the blade? Where does it angle the blade? How much does it expose the blade, and how does that react with your face? I mean, that's all. Whether it costs $5 to make the razor or $5,000. Is there a $5,000 razor? I don't know. I'm going to rinse. Nice, slick rinse. Very comfortable. good soap. Gives the razor a good glide. Since strength is nice, I'd say maybe it's a 4 or 5 out of 10. So for me, that means it's present during the shave, anytime you want it to be, but it's not in your way or causing problems. But anyway, what I was trying to communicate before was that I have shaved with, and this is the PolSilver, I've shaved with the Gillette Silver Blue with this razor, and it just felt amazing. So what could that be? Currently, they're both at about the same number of uses, the GSB and the PolSilver. But I think back when I tried the GSB in it, it was maybe 4 or 5 uses. Not too much different. So what it could be is that the difference of several uses has changed the geometry and the way this blade behaves in this razor head. And you might be able to phrase it like during the first 7 shaves, this performs like an amazing premium razor. But then after that, it starts to lose that extra 1% of excellence, and it becomes like many other razors. In fact, it becomes like a 100-use Nasset inside my Gillette Sheraton, for instance. It's kind of how I might say it. That could be what's happening. But since this is PolSilver and the GSB is what cut really well for me the other day, it could also be just that blade has a nuance of difference to it that makes it not feel quite as nice as the GSB for me. As usual, I'm using cold water. It is hard water. I haven't even dipped back into my bowl yet. I'm still functioning off of that initial load that was in my brush. Just for fun, because I've got plenty of soap laying around here. This is just, I mean, if you haven't made an awesome lather with Cella, it is just a great soap. Look at that elasticity. You can push a bunch of water into it like this if you want to, and it's given me very good results right now. Or you can keep it a little thick maybe if that's how you prefer. Feels great on the face with this brush. Yeah, so this loft setting for this brush right now, I think I'm just really happy with this. I think it was just a little too wild and big when I did not have any kind of restrictor on it. Because I have a narrow tract of land here. I think the hairs are a little bit more in control. And that helps the backbone to keep the tips in the right places to where the tips can be as soft and awesome as they are. If that makes any sense. If it's splaying out too much, because there's enough loft there without any type of restrictor, then it almost gets, there's less control there with the backbone of the brushes. So this is just a nice, comfortable shave. It's not super smooth. But that's probably because it's a good balance point right now between aggression and comfort. Haven't really been paying too much attention to my neck during this shave, just kind of doing a quick one, kind of just staying on autopilot. It'll be interesting to see what kind of result I get, right? I don't think the Cella soap has any preservatives, or maybe the balm is that way. And so if you do get that big block, don't just put it somewhere and let it sit. I think you might be okay if you put it in a Ziploc, maybe try to suck some of the air out. You'll definitely be able to keep it a very long time if you have one of those vacuum sealers and can put it in one of those type bags. That can be a tremendous cost savings for you. Ready to rinse. Rinses have been very nice with this soap today. I've got a great cut with just 3 passes. That speaks very highly. It's above average for me, and for fun I'm just going to leave it this way. Not going to do my usual half neck pass. I'm shaving a little bit later on in the evening than I usually do. It's actually very much into the next morning. Time to go to bed. So I got a great shave from the PolSilver. May not have been as nice of a cutter as the Gillette Silver Blue, but it was a great shave. Felt the edge of the blade, but it was comfortable, predictable, solid, held very nicely, not tons of chatter, felt very firm and predictable. So that's probably why my face doesn't have any red almost at all. Certainly doesn't feel it. I do feel a little something over here, but as I said, I wasn't really being too careful. I was just kind of going at it. Today, since I had such a nice, sweet type of scent for the soap, I decided to bust out a sweet type of scent for the balm, for the post-shave. If you ever open up your little can of the salve from Chatillon Luxe and it has separated with a little bit of liquid, just whip out a toothpick or some type of stirring device, stir it back together, it'll reintegrate, no problem at all. This one hasn't done that, so that's very cool. I am going to hook out some of that. Now, the instructions are online stuff, say to kind of mix it in your palm and stuff, but see, I can't really touch my palm to certain areas of my face because of an injury. And so I like to just kind of keep it on my fingertips, and the warmth of your body heat will start reacting with this particular salve. That's just the way it was designed to work. It's very opaque at first, but then almost like butter, it'll start to change. This is not a product you want to use if you're in a hurry. But yeah, it's a nice scent. That's nice. I haven't used it in a while. I'm glad I whipped that out. So it's gotten a little bit more translucent now. So now I can take it to my face. Looks like maybe a little bit of it crystallized. I think I have a few solids there. Maybe I needed to work those out a little bit more with my fingers, but yeah, it's a nice, sweet, yet manly and very interesting scent. It's got sweet notes in it, but also some not sweet notes that give it a lot of intrigue and interest instead of just something sweet. And then if you have rough elbows like me, you can take the remainder that just you can't get off of your fingertips. Soften up those elbows so you don't scratch your kids or something like that. All right, man, that's good. That feels good. That feels good. All right, so how much water did I use? 2 2/3 teaspoons. I had a lightly wet brush, but probably a little bit between light and medium. It was really kind of the water feel that I had on that brush. Really happy with the loft, like I said. And holy cow, look at what I've got left over. Tons of lather. I am certain that I could use a lot less soap. I forgot, I should have looked at my notes about Cella. Probably half of that 1/4 teaspoon is all I needed, and I put in a full one. Who knows, I might have even put a rounded one in there. Terrific, terrific lather. There's some art right there. You smack it in there, Jackson Pollock style. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to clean up, rinse some of these things out. And here's a note for you. If you do like that kind of a balm that you spread around with your fingertips, I forgot this tonight. Apply that after you clean up. But now, because now I've got these slippery fingers, I'm going to be trying to hold soapy wet things under a faucet. So sometimes it's better to order your things a little differently. So the Bulldog handle worked really well tonight. It was very natural. I didn't catch myself looking at it going, is my balance right? You know, that sort of thing. Of course, as you can see with the knurling, it's very grippy. That's not going to be a problem for you, even if the handle gets soapy. It's a little on the short side for me. I've got big hands. However, because of its weight and its balance, it's really balanced at a good place for me. That's just kind of naturally where I hold the razor. And so that made it very easy to maintain a light movement across my face, just letting that edge touch only as much as it needed to touch and not any more than that. And I think that's what gave me good results here after just 3 passes instead of having to do the extra half pass. So this Bulldog handle is very suited. I think it looks nice with this razor. Happy about that. I might try to find another handle for this head at some point, but until then, really happy with this guy. The balance is just right, and the thickness for me, that's kind of where I like it. Sure, being a little bit more narrow is nimble when spinning it, when you move and things, but that's about the thickness that I like. But also any more thick, and you can't turn it around as easily because it just has more circumference around the handle, and so it takes more hand effort to then turn it. And so that's a right happy medium between a really fat handle, you've seen those probably around, and then something really thin like a ball end tech or something like that. All right, well, the soap was excellent. I showed you the lather. It was terrific. And if you don't get a lather like that from Cella, then I hope maybe this video could help you to do that, because it's not too difficult to achieve. I happened to overload it with soap tonight, but I guarantee you I have gotten closer to the right amount of soap before and had just as good of a lather. So it's not the overloading of soap that did it. The razor did very well. The blade, excellent. The brush was superb tonight. So really good shave all the way around. And I did a good job picking the balm. I'm already smelling it a little bit around me as I am kind of moving around and closing up shop here. So we are looking good. Also, here's something I noticed today. I just put a bunch of things up online to sell, and I had put some aftershaves in my box, to sell box. Ones that were there most often just had menthol. And after a shave, menthol really kind of gives me a burning feeling instead of a fresh, refreshing, cooling feeling like a lot of other guys get. So I put them in my Cella box. But I just realized today that menthol irritation only happens to me after a shave. Probably because after shave my skin is more vulnerable. It's more raw, more tender because of the shaving actions. Because today I tried putting on a splash that previously had bothered me, and I didn't get any cooling sensation at all from it. It was terrific. So I think I may relook at those aftershave balms, splashes that I have, the ones that contain menthol, and maybe not put them on right after a shave, maybe put them on in the morning or something like that. And I might have a better experience. Who knows? Maybe that's something that can help you. All right, well, we're all done. Great shave. Hope this was helpful to you in some way. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.